this meeting, this joint meeting of the Community Development and Health Human Services Committee to order, and I will first read the notice. New Haven Board of Alders Joint Community Development, Health and Human Services Committee. Board of Alders neighbors, 165 Church Street, New Haven, here from the City Department and agencies concerning LM-2024-0293. Order of the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven approving the City of New Haven's 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan Statement of Activities and Use of Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Partnership Program, Persons with AIDS, HOPLA, and Emergency Solutions Grants, ESG. Funds to be submitted to the Department of Housing and Urban Development for federal financial assistance for planning and community development activities under the provisions of Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. Francis Gonzalez National Affordable Housing Act of 1990 as amended. Virginia Mental Homeless Assistance Act of 2000 as amended. The Homeless Emergency Assistance and Rapid Transition to Housing Act of 2009 and the AIDS Housing Opportunity Act, hereafter referred to as the Housing Community Development Block Grant Act, Housing and Community Development Program Act, and for activities funded by program account and/or reprogramming funds from prior 10 years. This item is on file available for public inspection in the Office of Legislative Services, 165 Church Street, New Haven. Honorable Carmen Rodriguez and Honorable Eli Saban co-chairs. Test Honorable Michael Smart, City Clerk. If you need an accessibility related accommodation, please contact 203-946-7651 or 203-946-8582. In accordance with the City of New Haven COVID-19 guidelines, masks are now optional. Public may send comments public testimony at newhavenct.gov. Now we'll do introductions. My name is Eli Saban. I represent 7 of the board and chair of the Health and Human Services Committee.
Well, I am in Ward 6, Community Development.
Proceed with introductions from
Sarah Miller, Ward 14.
Kimberly Edwards, Ward 19, Community Development.
Kansas Singh, Ward 5, Health and Human Service.
Frank Redemption, Ward 15, Community Development.
Brittany Mayberry Nyblack, Ward 1, Community Development.
Brian Wingate, Ward 29, Beaver Hills. Happy birthday.
happy birthday to all the efforts. We first will have a presentation from city staff and we'll proceed with testimony. So we appreciate everybody being here. We will make sure to get through our testimonies and questions as quickly as possible. Take it all home. But we're looking forward to hearing from you and about all projects that you all work on.
Yes, sir.
Ron Gizzi, 219 Raymond Terrace, Camden. Good evening, everyone. Happy birthday. Okay, so we do have the final allocations from HUD. We just got them late last week. So that's the column that's highlighted in blue. So unfortunately, we did receive cuts in every category. So in CDBG, it's about $114,000 less than what we were expecting. So I was able to review the reprogramming for funds that we're not already using. So if you look at 17,000 in the 22,000, 2,000 is to be cut from software, public service, and 22,000 from admin, and that's CDBG. For home, it's $194,000 difference. And then you'll see the categories below there also. There's a chiller reserve, that's a maximum of a cap. And the admin is also a cap. And then this, we can work with LCI on this to determine the best cut there. But we have a little bit over $6,000 cut, and then ESG, there's a little bit over $10,000. So unfortunately, we did not get additional. So that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Do any members of the committee have any questions about the cuts that we will have to deal with in our final allocations?
Okay. Thank you, Chair and Madam Chair. You're doing all right.
Pretty good.
Listen, in the past, we have had cuts, right?
Yes.
What have we done, or was there, like, options to LCI, or anything that we done in the past to help the nonprofits in this?
Well, again, most of the funding does go to hardware, to the brick and mortar activities, public improvement activities, housing. So that's why I was able to find the additional reprogramming from some of the admin funds. So we just hired 2 people. We had 2 vacancies, but it took a while. So there were some lab salaries there. One person in city plan and another person over in finance. And then there was another vacancy in CSA. So I was able to get to that 74. So we don't have to do anything with hardware.
Okay.
So it's just the public service category and the. But we were level funded overall, like the whole program was level funded. But each year they're adding entitlement communities. So it's, I don't know, I think it was 3.5 billion. But again, it'll be 1,200 entitlement communities with that funding.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wondered if you could remind us how this compares to other years, and if there's any, do you have any tools for sort of planning better so that we don't have basis?
Well, I'm talking to HUD, they were saying that, and they did say the same thing from fiscal year 23 to 24 level funding. We ended up with a cut there as well. So I think, and next year we'll just have to build in like a 5% cut across the board so we don't have this situation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the committee? Seeing that, I think we'll ask you to stick around and if you could assist us with page numbers as agencies testify, that would be
sure. And so the only other thing we have to keep in mind is the deadline for community member amendments.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We're going to call up first Sandra Cops, Nutrition Security Solutions, Inc. As each presenter joins us at the table, we're going to get your name and you sit right where you
And then pull the microphone.
Page 97. Name, address.
Yes, ma'am. We'd like you to introduce yourself, name and address for the record, please.
I'm Dr. Sandra Cox. I am the president and founder of Nutrition Security Solutions. I'm a very hot servicing residents all over the greater New Haven. Particularly in Hampton, some in other parts of the greater We have gotten seed money from the Community Foundation to start a small satellite pantry. We, because we are warehouse-based, can through our e-commerce software serve an unlimited number of people. And all we have to do at these sites, at these satellite sites, is have an intake where people come and pre-order the packages based on nutrition values. They get a choice from 6 categories of food, with points allotted category. And so we serve every 2 weeks. We specialize in the elderly and handicapped, because these people mostly need special dietary foods. We specialize in special diets. When people register on the program, they can say they're diabetic, they don't want low carbohydrate foods, or if they have renal problems, they have low sodium. And the software filters out products to select on the shopping screen that are high in carbohydrate, high in sodium automatically. So those just never appear for them to select. And so we're different than other pantries because the standard pantry just takes in what it can and gives it out in packages. And we, with our warehouse operation, we can purchase food from a number of vendors at best purchasing opportunity to give it out. Nutrition for the packages that we're serving. The standard pantry, when we go to fill the bags for one cycle, we use like 7 cases or whatever. We'll maybe use 20 units overnight. So students can serve a number of items you're using. It's a conservation model, as well as it's targeted and concise what people want. So it eliminates waste by not giving them anything they don't want.
Thank you.
It's a good service, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so
So
much.
we're trying to set up the seed money we got from the Community Foundation is for a satellite set up Trinity Lutheran Church on Orange Street. And they project that we could serve 40 people, about families. The family has 2 or more handicapped people take on as a program. But we're applying for funds for a block grant to supplement the money we got from the community fund. It was a small basic needs group. So to get it going and also some leverage into here, we need some funds.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the committee? Alderman Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have one question, and I may have missed it if you did state it, so I apologize in advance. How does one sign up or hear about this particular program?
Well, on the flyer, and people hear about us. And they can call and get activated on the program. They have to meet income requirements, like food bank asks for people to have an income level to qualify for TFAP foods, USD markets. We have TFAP agency, and we use those foods. So they call and we assess their need.
Thank you. I have no question.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you, for your testimony. Do y'all do any, fundraising?
We do, yeah, oh yes, we just participating in the Great Gift, and we move on to events throughout.
Because allocated by the mayor has been 10,000. And
Pardon?
what has been proposed is 10,000 for your nonprofit. Your request is 31,000.
That's the total cost for the year. Satellite budget cover about a healthy population of about 50 individuals would be about $30,000, mostly in food supplies.
Mhm.
The more food, the more satellites you have, um, they like the cost, the operating cost of the warehouse. So we will see granting opportunities to fund this kind of operation.
I was just curious, if you wasn't able to get all of it, because as you know, we are kind of like tight, right? How would the operation go?
Funds of other places.
Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you so much.
We're not quite through this medicine.
Mhm.
I'm a registered dietitian, and I've always realized that there are people there that need, they go to dietitians and they get a diet for the moment. I can't afford these foods, so they buy chips and soda. So we have these foods that they say, my doctor wants me to have fish. And we have that.
Thank you, Alderman. Any other questions? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I am going to call Mr. Residenti Uniwazek. Andrew Residenti Uniwazek. We're going to move on to the next presenter. Miss Nasim Gilson, City C. And address for the record, please. Nasima Gilson, 166 Norton Street in New Haven. My apologies, Miss Nasima Gilson. No problem. I get it all the time. So I am representing City Seed. I am the program director of Sanctuary Kitchen, so we have an application for both City Seed as a whole and for the farmers markets and for the Sanctuary Kitchen program. So, for City Seed, we're looking to double our SFMAP, those letters in there, program, which is the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition. And for those points to help with low income seniors and those who have less access to. And for kitchen, we are looking to expand our culinary training program for refugee and immigrant women. We are looking to add a second cohort for the year, which would be wonderful to serve at least 6 more individuals. They go through culinary English, culinary arts, and then they have hands-on training as well as excellent internships with our partner organizations.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions from members of the committee?
Thank you for your service.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thanks so much.
Thanks for being here.
Miss Martin from Haven's Harvest.
Mm.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Lori Martin. My address is 24 Sherland Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut. And I'm the executive director and founder of Haven's Harvest, a recovery organization, a nonprofit that focuses on food recovery. And we recover about 1.5 million pounds of food each year, and over 1 million of that stays here in New Haven and redistributed into neighborhoods. In fact, I did bring two lists. May I see that one? Oh, yeah. These are the partners in New Haven. These are from August, so I might have missed one. These are just the folks who are inside the cities. Almost every it's generally spread, but sometimes that was in the front door for staff and families to share. Well, I asked for it. And I will say, one of the goals that we had, which is beyond CDBG grant money, though, is to create a food recovery hub, which will gives the opportunity to aggregate food, repackage food, share it in the community. And a couple other components of that would be nonprofit food, so it actually gives access to good price for folks in the city, and also sort of a reef cafe, one of the income streams that we get out of those. One of the things that we get lots of prepared food from universities. Universities as well, they have a large hotel pan size, so they're often 20 to 40. And so it's hard to find to distribute that in. We could share with some of the places. We had an easy relationship with us, but since COVID has been more difficult, unless the RSC is there and will help distribute the food, people are more wary, and certainly we are too, of that sort of like community distribution. So that's, it's certainly an area where people food, but getting this food to them, repackaged harder.
Any questions from the committee? Oh, wait, wait.
Thank you for your testimony.
Certainly.
Do you do any fundraising?
Yes, we do.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Certainly.
Just sort of what your acts is and what has been put.
Yeah, sure. We write for grants, support events, as has the Foundation in the southeast part of Connecticut, so outside of New and the Valley Community Foundation. We just had a summer, we do the summer series. We have guest chefs, and we have these lovely dinners made with recovered food, and those have been fundraisers. We had a fun, successful burn campaign, and we just completed our Rocket Rocket great campaigns.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. I'll let you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all. For your service. Our next presenter is Chris Clark. Sounds
Ladies and gentlemen,
Your name and address for the record, please?
Chris Clark, 10 West Sheffield Street. Well, 117 Washington Avenue, North Haven. So, my program is based on. I was here a couple years ago, and I was able to present the grocery program to different entities, delivering to people, and we deliver to seniors every week. Drivers that go out to deliver to locations. Seniors have their location where they go all throughout the city. And then our other program is the gift card program. The gift card program is where you get $100. You go out, we go out for you, pick up burgers for you. We ask you what would you need. And from there, you get everything that you need.
Thank you. Any questions from members of the committee?
Thank you for your service. Yeah, you was here a couple years ago. I followed up with your program. You're doing good work out there, so thank you.
Appreciate
you. So I will just ask, so you requested $32,000, I think the mayor proposed to give your organization $10,000.
Yes.
Could you tell us about what will happen if that gap persists, or
So, for instance, you get 25 gift cards. $2 just like that. So money goes good. You're giving the card to people that are in need. The other part to that is the delivering negotiations. So the drivers that we have, we give them a stipend for their services. So that's done every week. So whether you need it weekly or whether you need it for emergency use, we have both ways to assist the seniors.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alderman.
So I will follow up on my chair, asked. So the proposal, is to give you 10,000. Your request is 31,000. You don't receive, close the gap, what will happen with your proposal?
It possibly end, but we can't try to find other alternatives, but we try to have people volunteer for their time. And a lot of that is one of the biggest things that assist us where people volunteer their time if we don't necessarily have the funds to assist them.
Do you fundraise?
I don't necessarily fundraise, but it's a possibility.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Our next presenter is Lowell Harris, Power in the Shower.
Two applications. Page 98 is CDBG.
How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Back.
Yes, I'm back.
So if you can, I think you can present.
You can give your name and address for the record.
Thank you.
Yes, Lowell Harris. I've been studying through the Edson Academy, Bronx, New York, 10469. Okay. The funding that we can use to extend the program that we presently run. And so we find that we had a lot of requests for showers in September. And so and we extend into November. We still started in April, we started in March. And so the funds help to offset the costs in covering those extra months. Also, we had a lot of requests from those who are staying in shelters for hygiene products. And most of the times we have to say no, because it's slightly different to what we use in show program. Because our show program has a lot of it inside of the store. So we use some of the funding to provide packages that would have more stuff for those who will come by and need that hygiene product. Because our holistic program is transformation to hygiene. And so we try to cover all areas of hygiene. And so in this year, when we rolled out in March, we found out that we had covered about 120, 130 for the match a quarter time. So we see that the fund helps to offset and to provide the resources for our people. Yes.
Thank you. And just to make sure, so as our staff indicated, you have two different applications. Could you just explain what each of those applications are for?
Well, they complement each application. One covers more of the resources because we are a mobile unit, and a lot of our expenses is that unit around from location to location. And the other one helps back up with the resources, the stuff that we give out. Because every time you give a show, you get the same thing over and over. So that is repetition. So we pretty much need that help to keep that going. Because everybody who comes once or twice a week gets this stuff. So that's why we have two separate projects. One helps us a lot with the moving of the mobile unit around, and the other one wants to make sure that we always have the supplies to give to the guests.
Thank you. Any questions? Committee? Seeing none, we're all set. Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
sir. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Our next presenter is Ms. Healy, Independence Northwest.
Bring a good crowd.
I see.
So what I'm going to, who would be represented?
Healy.
Yes, absolutely. Is there anyone that will be speaking? Miss Hill, yes. So,
Eileen Healy, and my address.
If you're going to be speaking, please sit down here. If you're not going to be speaking right now, we can do for public testimony for you later. But find a seat in the audience. That would be your name and address for your records.
Sure. I'm Eileen Healy, and I live in Woodbury, Connecticut, 186 Salted Hill Road, Woodbury. My organization.
Miss Haley, if you can, we're just gonna have everybody have a seat so that you can present. And we can, the committee can.
We have one more person that'd like to speak.
Okay, so. And we're gonna let everyone get settled so you can have.
We'll make sure everybody, we really appreciate everybody coming. We'll make sure everybody has a chance to speak. We just have to make sure everybody has, it's at a table and we'll give everybody their opportunity. Please
Shall I
proceed.
start again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm Eileen Healy. I'm at 186 Salted Hill Road in Woodbury, Connecticut. Our office is in Naugatuck.
I'm Kasima Jeter. I live at 235 Flat Street in Waterbury, and the office is also.
And I
Address?
Thank you.
I am Joe Mancinone. I live in Woodbury, Connecticut. I'm 73 years old and I have a date.
Address for the doctor? Address?
55 Water.
Thank
I'm the Director of Social Drivers of Health at State Level Center. We have the HACO program, and I live at 19 River Road, Washington, Connecticut. Our office is in Waterbury.
I'm the Executive Director of Independence Northwest in Naugatuck, of 2 Waterbury area agencies that have been recommended for a 50% cut to our HACO funding. My written testimony was submitted last week and it's based on anticipating 50% cut. However, on May 13th, I did receive a phone call from Eliza Halsey assuring me that HACO funding for Independence Northwest may not be cut by 50% for all. But this change is not yet in funding for the plan. It's not in writing anywhere. The people that have come up with me, the vast majority of them are people that are going to lose their housing with this that goes into effect. The people with, it would cause many people living with HIV and AIDS in New Haven County to become homeless. Our clients also have less than 90 days to figure out how to afford their housing and where they were going to live. We're grateful for this potential change in funding, and we will continue to advocate for our clients' needs until the funding is confirmed. We also want to address some procedural issues we encountered. Independence Northwest is a non-residential disability organization serving Northwest Connecticut. We've had HACO contracts for over 25 years, providing high-quality services to residents in Waterbury and other towns in the New Haven County. Every dollar of our federal HACO funding we receive goes into scattered site rental subsidies. For 27 clients, and there's a waiting list of 72 people. IM subsidizes apartments in Haven, West Haven, Ansonia, Derby, Meriden, Naugatuck, and of course Waterbury. We leverage funding from the Department of Housing, Broadway Cares, and the Title VII of BoA to support staff, program expenses, and administration. As I'm sure know, is funding that's intended for the entire eligible metropolitan statistical area, otherwise known as New Haven County. The city receives and administers these federal funds for the entire county.
The city's application for HOPWA funds specifically states it's a regional grant, listing the eligible towns. The application is for regional towns. It also lists 4 HOPWA priorities with the 4th to ensure that services are distributed and funded equitably across the entire state. The initial reason stated 50% cut was to retain more funding for New Haven. We recently read a statement that Mayor Upper publicly stated funding was going to areas with the greatest need. But by cutting the Waterbury providers, the city is going to actually increase the need. But we asked for interim funding levels were decided and there was no documentation. Applications weren't scored. Without any recommended funding decisions for public dollars, including statistics and other criteria, this isn't a transparent process that stands up to scrutiny or determinations of equity across the region. We encourage the city to establish clear and consistent criteria that benefits both the applicants and the reviewers. Applications must be scored against the stated criterion and reviewed by non-conflicted reviewers from across the EMSA, not only New Haven. Without a standardized process and diverse reviews, funding decisions will be perceived to be, and may very well be, subjective and lacking in equitable distribution. Finally, we urge you to reject the 50% cut to Independence Northwest and to stay well, and to restore flat funding of $210,000 and $105,000 respectively. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Do members of your group want to testify as well?
I'm sorry, guys, my hearing is so if I look at you with that question, I'm like, you're good. Thank you. To read a letter, I submitted this to everybody that was on the list, so. My name is John Manson, and I'm Waterbury, Connecticut, and I am part of the HOP program. And so today, the very painful day to get here. I did it. I just say something and how it impacted me. I received rental assistance from Northwest Independent Housing HOP Fund program. Operating in strong opposition to the city of New Haven's proposed 50% cut program. For the cut funds in New Haven, they are currently receiving 76% of HOPWA funding. If this cut is approved, an estimated 20 people in the Waterbury area won't be able to afford their current monthly rent. This cut will harm me because as a senior citizen living with HIV, this measure will have a definite negative impact on my health. There's a pretty good chance that I'll be homeless, which will definitely have a negative impact, not only on my physical health, but also on my mental health. I would lose a major part of my support system along with my housing. This includes people living on the first and third floor.
You're okay. Take your time.
People living on the first and third floor of the apartment buildings that I live in at present. They have been at some of my worst times with my health. They are more like family. I will lose all of this if I become homeless, which will have dependents 50% of its HOPWA program funding. I don't understand how reducing the funding to Independence Northwest in hopes of being able to serve people living in the New Haven area at some future time can be seen as a positive choice for this funding. Meanwhile, 20 of the clients suffer with families who are established in their lives and their support systems are going to find that their lives get turned upside down. Not at some future time, but now. Putting us in a position where we have to go looking for funding from other funding sources to keep us from becoming homeless. As I mentioned at the start of this dialogue, I am 72 years old. I've been positive for 36 years. I managed to stay healthy by taking care of myself. By finding the care that I needed and the support which was vital. I cannot imagine what my life would have been like, would have become like without the help of independent funding. Although I have progressed from HIV to AIDS over 20 years ago, I have managed to maintain my health in regard to living with AIDS. But at present, I am living with diabetes, fibromyalgia, chronic back and hip pain that has left me bedridden for weeks at a time. Please understand, I am in no way able to find a job to keep my housing. Otherwise, I would. I am asking those that have the power to change this decision, to cut the funding to Independence Northwest Hopwood Housing Program. Please reconsider. Is my life and many others may hang in the balance of your decision? I would like to mention one more thing regarding the impact of people living with HIV and homelessness. At the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, I worked for 20 years helping clients access services. What was noticed was that for whatever reason, a person being homeless, their health rapidly declined, often leading to hospitalization or often death. This has not changed over the years. In closing, I'd like to say that the city of New Haven receives federal HOP funding for housing services on behalf of the entire county, which includes the Waterbury area. The harm this cause is made worse since I had less than 90 days to figure out where I am going. I need to restore $210,000 in funding to Independence Northwest Opportunities Program, Housing Opportunity Program. So I'm not homeless. So please think about how important the decision is for so many of us receiving services from Independence Northwest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. From your group would like to testify quickly, I think.
Yes.
We want to make sure we're able to get everybody, and anybody who's here, we appreciate you coming down. And we want to make sure everybody has a chance to speak. But
I'm here to represent Stable Health Center of Waterbury. We are the other agency that is supporting with the HOPWA funding. Not only that, we are the region lead for Waterbury for Ryan White services for Part A, B, C, and D. And so a lot of the people that are on the wait list for HOPWA are people that are in this program. So this is really the only program that they really have for housing in this area, especially for those that are living in communities. And so with these cuts, with us, it's 50%. We do receive $105,000. Currently, we have 13 people. With this cut, we will only be able to help 4 people. And then not only that, we are only having a part-time person that does housing right now. With these cuts, how are we going to fund someone to help 4 people when we can barely keep those 4 people on the program? So it will affect a lot of things. And then also with the 72 people that are waiting to receive HOPWA funding, how are we going to assist them if we have little to no funding to do this? So we really think that this should be really considered and looked at. We're not only helping people that live in Waterbury, and we're looking at everyone in New Haven County. So we have people that are in West Haven, Meriden, and so we're not just looking at Waterbury, we're looking at the whole county. So when you're cutting these funds, you're cutting from the whole county, not just Waterbury. So that's something to take into consideration. So we thank you guys for the time and this opportunity for us to present and for us to understand how it affects
us. Hi, my name is Maria. I live in Johnstown, Connecticut. I receive rental assistance through Independent Housing Opportunity Program. I wrote this paper and I'm reading it to you now. In strong opposition to the City of New Haven's proposed 50% cut to Independence Plus rental assistance program. The stated reason for the cut is to keep open. They are currently retaining 76% of popular funding. If this cut is approved, an estimated 20 people in the area won't be able to afford their current monthly. This cut will, sorry, I don't have glasses. This cut will harm me because I am a single mother of 3 who is also living with HIV. And my only income is my disability. Their father passed away 3 years ago, so I'm truly on my own. I have been living with HIV for over 20 years. I have applied for many types of housing and have been on my many waiting lists. Independence was the first one to finally accept me that I have been meeting all along. Health was such a decline and I was under so much stress before it came along and I almost died. Since Independence Northwest's help, my health has dramatically got better. And I do not have to stress about where we live or eat or electric because I control them all. Stress is a big problem for people with HIV. It brings the immune system down, which in turn lets the virus go. With this better situation, my numbers are doing better more regularly. I've even been told I look healthier and even younger than a few years ago. My children can now play outside safely. The schools have special programs for 2 of my children with special needs, and that is a hard thing to recruit, please. The 3 of them, my children, no longer have to worry about where they live or if they have food, and at any moment their mother could die. They have been actually acting like children, which gives me so much joy and stress. But if this goes through, it will not just make things like they were before, it will make it 50 times worse. The City of New Haven receives the federal HHS funding for housing services on behalf of the entire county, which includes the Waterbury area. The harm this cut will cause is made worse since I have less than 90 days to figure out how or where I want to live. I urge you to restore the $2,000 in funding to Independence Northwest Housing Opportunities Program, so I may not be homeless children.
Last but not least. So I just really will keep it brief, and out of respect for the committee and the process, so I appreciate it. I just want to really support, first, our guests and Independence Northwest, but support continue to about Steel's housing program. We are a smaller program than Independence Northwest. My clients are extremely dependent upon it. And I'm busy then, so I review a lot of the budgets, the support for the clients to get the subsidy, and make sure that housing the actual program, and the team work extremely hard to make sure that our clients have what they need for their basic needs. Not only just for day-to-day survival, but for our goal is really for long-term health. And we heard right here on the left talk about how housing determines health. We see that every time consideration, but we really hope that you'll consider not using the fund.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from members of the committee?
I don't have a question, I have comments. I just want to say thank you for service that you're doing all these years. Thank you for your stories and sharing what you've been going through. We got to figure something out. This is not an item that we vote on tonight, anyway. So I can, take this moment to say that because we really want to have no discussion tonight as well. We love all the Haiti municipalities. I just want to put that on record that this one all of them. So I love that after all of us. We got some stuff to figure out. Thank you for your service and thank you for your leadership. And once again, thank you for your stories.
Thank you for having
Thank you, Alderman. Certainly, I know all that. Any other, do you have any questions? I just want to ask you, so you mentioned that New Haven is administering HOPWA funds for the county. Do you know whether there are any other municipalities in the county that have received HOPWA funding, or it's just New Haven?
Just able to administer for the entire county or EMSA. Hartford is its own EMSA. Wow.
Just wanted to make that. Thank you very much. And so everybody else is here, after we have other agencies testify and present, we will continue to have public testimony. So if you want to stick around, we'll have an opportunity for you to speak as well. If you could provide, if you give these to staff right there.
You submitted mine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
We're gonna give it to Jeff, we're gonna give it to Jessica, so she can have that.
Sorry.
Oh, no apologies needed.
my hair and my sleeve.
You did well, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter will be Candace Wright, Solar U.
Page 19.
Candace Wright from Solar U. And for a third time, Candace Wright, Solar U. We will move on. Our next presenter is going to be Catherine from Children in Placement. As you come to the table and get settled, we need your name and address for the record. Let's call 911.
911.
Come on, hold on.
Let's go. I just calling.
Hold on. Anybody? Yeah. Campbell? Okay. You have a call. Is that me?
There's nothing back there. There's nothing back there.
I was gonna say, how can I?
What's your, Chair, can we take a minute?
Wow. This is what we do. So
We're going to recess for 5 minutes.
You are more than welcome to do that. Well, it was a long trip. You mentioned that earlier. You were here.
Okay. We got it too. Okay. We're good.
Yeah.
Alyssa.
He has me. So you want to restart all of it? Oh, you lost it.
No.
Thank you.
We will come back to order. Thank you for your patience. Just want to make sure that all you folks who have come, if you want to stay and testify, you're welcome to do that. And we also, as we mentioned earlier, we're not going to be going by anything. To also reach out and lost any additional comments that you want to the address that's provided by our staff. So we appreciate you being here. And again, we'll provide additional time for you all to testify after all the other agencies have gone through their stick around. And wait, just want to make sure that was clear. Please proceed.
Hello. Thank you for this opportunity today. I'm Catherine Pastrana. I'm a regional manager and community outreach manager for children and placement. Our corporate office is in 470 James Street, here in New Haven. For 45 years, Children in Placement has recruited, trained, and managed volunteers to serve as guardian ad litem in court to support hundreds of abused and neglected children statewide each year. We are the only agency to do this, and we are not widely known because our work is reported under the Department of Children and Families. But DCF caseworkers have upwards of 30 cases to manage, and attorneys have many more. Our volunteers take on 1 or 2 cases at a time. In 2022, DCF accepted 1,886 abuse and neglect cases in Haven alone. We are requesting funding to support our efforts to recruit additional guardian ad litem and provide staff support to manage these cases. The leading cause of abuse and neglect, the leading cause of abuse and neglect is poverty and substance abuse. In Haven, like every large urban city, there is a higher rate of families at or below poverty level, which in Haven children experience more poverty than adults. Within placement, volunteers take on the toughest cases and provide a thorough report to the court so that the judge can make an informed decision on the safe permanent placement of a child. Studies show that when the guardian ad litem volunteers involved in a child protection case, the child and their family receive more court order services, and the child's cases is more likely to remain closed, and the child is on the road to a permanency in a short period, as compared to children in child protective cases that without a GAL. Children in placement receive less than half of this budget from state funding. We rely heavily on funding from the cities and other funders to continue to provide this much needed service to make sure that we service each year. We take 100% of our cases assigned to us. If you remember nothing else, please know that the volunteer is the one voice whose sole allegiance is to speak up for the children's best interests, while simultaneously monitoring the child's ongoing safety and standing by the child as they endure court trials, motions, and hearings. Our volunteers ensure that potential barriers that could otherwise impede the child's path to a safe and permanent home are removed as quickly as possible. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Rita. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Steve Werland from Downtown Evening Soup Kitchen.
Page 91, your web. Good evening, Steve Moreland, 24 Alden Avenue, New Haven. I feel like this has been emotional. I've done these several times, and this is the first time I've heard get up here and talk about this level of cuts. It's disheartening to hear about the post cuts to the HOPLA programming for independent stand firms. So I do hope that they restore that funding to 100%. First off, just thank you all so much for the opportunity to talk about this tonight, talk about CDBG funding, and thank you for your work on it.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think we will just recess for a moment.
When you close it.
You don't want to stay
Yeah,
there.
140 overnight.
Wait a minute.
All right, you ready? We're gonna take a trip to the hospital.
I got that, my people.
My blood pressure is
do our best to continue with the meeting. We will ask you to reintroduce yourself and begin your testimony, and then we will have, I think, just a couple more folks after that. We appreciate everybody's patience. Please proceed.
Steve Rowland, 24 Alden Avenue, here tonight representing Downtown Evening Soup Kitchen, or Desk, as we call it. Yeah, just before I start, as I was saying before, thank you all for doing this. I know there's a lot of late nights and competing interests and difficult decisions that you all have to make, especially in light of HUD funding cuts and tapping up ahead of you. I think, as you can see in front of you, Desk submitted 2 proposals under CDBG software. The first was for our food pantry program. We refer to that as our Olive Street Pantry. It operates out of the Church of St. Paul and St. James as part of our partnership with Loaves and Fishes. We're serving about 150 or so households each week, a little over 1,200 households duplicated over the course of the year. It's a program like many of the pantries distribute Whole Foods and other items. We also do some additional outreach services through both our own staff and through a partnership with Project Access New Haven. The program itself costs around $167,000 to operate each year, or at least that's what's projected for the coming fiscal year. We requested $10,000 through CDBG, and I believe that's what was recommended in the year's budget for this as well. And to answer the question, I'm sure is coming from Alter Wingate, they will be made up mostly through private fundraising, and we do a lot of community-based fundraising, just like a lot of other organizations as well. That's primarily where the remaining funds will come from for that program. The other program which we submitted a proposal for is our Drop-In Resource Center, or DRC as we call it. It's a day program for unhoused and unsheltered individuals, people who are either actively experiencing homelessness or at imminent risk of homelessness. Provides a range of life-saving basic need services, food, clothing, toiletries, a range of harm reduction interventions. But we also have case management happening on site for our own staff and through partnerships with some of our close partners through the Coordinated Access Network. We also have medical care through Cornell Scott Health Center and mental health services through CMHC Connecticut Mental Health Center. We really see it as a sort of front door program for people who are experiencing homelessness and just coming into the system especially. So it's a way of getting people connected to additional services to get them into shelter, into housing. We don't like to refer to it as a one-stop shop because there really is a huge network of services out there, but it is that front door, it's that first step into waiting for people who are, especially the unsheltered folks, connected to services. It's open 6 days a week. Typically it operates out of 266 State Street, which is just between Chapel and Crown. Right now we're renovating that building, so we moved the program over to Olive Street, the Church of St. Paul and St. James at 57 Olive. But we intend to be back in the building after the renovation is complete within the first 60 days or so of the new fiscal year. The program is anticipated to cost around, with administrative costs, it's anticipated that it will cost around $686,000 in the coming program year to operate. We've requested from through the CDBG program, $40,000 this year, and I was a little dismayed to find out that it wasn't funded at all for this program this year, which is a little problematic. And I did bring with me, if it's okay to pass this down, just some historical data on how this program has been funded through city funding. As well.
Thank you.
So you can see what I'm passing around here. The program was initially funded in fiscal 22 through a combination of ARPA and general funds, which accounted for almost 30% of the project budget. The project budget and expenses for the program have increased year over year, mostly because we're offering additional services. We have increasing the staff, opening for longer hours, providing more food, especially for the program. In fiscal 23, the CDBG funding program accounted for still about 30%, but included $30,000. And then last year, the proposal for last year, this current fiscal year, was funding was decreased down to $10,000 while the expenses went up. So we went from getting about 29% funding through the city through both the CDBG program and general funds down to about 20% or a little over 20%. And this year, with the projected or with the recommended CDBG allocation of $0, and I'm hopeful that pending application for general funds at $99,000 will get funded. I don't know that for sure. We're looking at about a just shy of 18% contribution from the city. Part of the reason this is really unnerving for me is because we're seeing private fundraising, community-based fundraising decrease as well. You're probably all aware the Community Foundation did their annual Great Give earlier this month. I tend to look at this event as sort of a bit of a check, a bellwether on, for how public fundraising is going generally in Greater New Haven. I was unnerved while I was watching this play out. I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but many of the basic needs organizations that usually do very well during this campaign did not do well. We saw a lot of private fundraising going toward some very worthy programs in education, youth programming, stuff that is needed. But I was really worried to see that organizations like Desk, including Desk, were not finishing in sort of that top 20 or so organizations. Now is not the time to be defunding basic needs organizations. We saw this also during the Great Recession or just after the Great Recession. A lot of money in 2008, 2009, 2010, 11 went toward basic needs organizations. In this country, people really swinging for basic needs. But then when you hit like 2012, 2013, and all that money fell off. And when that money fell off, we stopped funding things like homelessness services and housing. And that is kind of what led to the problem we have now. The pandemic, again, we saw a lot of money coming into basic needs, and it seems like that is now getting shut off, both coming down from the federal level as well as coming from private fundraising. So I'm very worried, and I think I'm hoping that you take this into consideration as you're thinking about this year's CDBG allocations, what kinds of programs you feel that we as a city should be funding, we need to be funding at the very least.
Thank you, brother.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck. Bless you.
Happy to answer any questions about any of this.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience as well.
Yeah, no, of course.
Members of the committee have any questions? Alderman.
Thank you. Thank you for your service that you've been doing for the city of Haven for a very long time. And I see that you requested 40,000, and the mayor has responded with 0 proposal. And I know you do a lot of fundraising. I know I have that answer. But if we were able to give some, would that help in this capacity, making all what would that look like if we was able to give some?
So most of the grants we'll be applying for on the private fundraising side will be for considerably less than that $40,000 ask. It'll be $5,000 or $10,000 there, and all of that, it all accumulates to funding the full program. So to answer your question, yes, absolutely. Every piece of the grants.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the committee? Seeing none. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. And thank you for your patience.
Yes, thank you. I also just wanted to say thank you very much to the New Haven Fire Department and the paramedics for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to have our art bids present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you? When you get set up, and it's coming. Okay, wonderful. Ms. Anna Garcia and Randy Ruben Rahi. Thank you. So we'll wait, and then we'll give you a name. Thank you for your patience.
Good evening. Thank you very much for all of your service, which I know personally very well. My husband, Alderman Sergio Rodriguez, did that for 10 years, so I know the impact on your families, and I appreciate all of your time. My name is Randy Ruben Rodriguez. I live at 142 Judwin Avenue here in New Haven.
I am Anna Garcia. I live in 20 Barton Drive in North Haven, and I work at our kids in New Haven.
I am the co-founder and executive director of Our Kids, soon to retire June 30th. And Anna is going to be our incoming interim executive director. So we're very excited about this transition. Anna's been with us 23 years. So she knows the heart of our work, and we're very excited. We decided to come to testify this evening because for our community service application, the mayor has recommended $15,000 for our resiliency center, which is a new program that is funded through National 0 to 3 congressionally directed funding, and hopefully we will be fortunate to secure some funding from the State Department of Children and Families. This is a new model that National 0 to 3 is paying very close attention to because it is an infant toddler multi-generational program where parents will be on site with their babies under the age of 3 who are either at risk of being removed in open cases with DCF, or infants and toddlers who have recently been removed. And so the program is focusing on secure attachment and bonding and increasing the amount of time that birth parents can spend with their babies. Typically, the state affords newborns 1 hour a week to be with their parents at the age of 6 weeks. And so it's inherently natural that these are babies who are attaching to foster families. And I know this personally, having been a foster mom for 10 years with lots of babies coming to our home. And we want to really work at, number one, remediating the situations that brought our parents into this situation and these babies in this vulnerable position, but to also be able to provide an on-site, hands-on opportunity for our parents to be able to observe the child care services that are being rendered, therapeutic child care services, as well as participate in their baby's care. So they are not strangers. These babies are not being dropped off at 8 o'clock in the morning and picked up at 5. This is a very intentional therapeutic designed program that will have child psychologists, therapists, substance abuse groups for parents, nutrition groups, intimate partner violence groups. We're looking at collaborating with the Hill Health Center to have some of their team, a WIC group, once a week for a lunch bunch group for parents to learn good nutrition for their babies. We'll be providing the nutritional supplements for these infants and toddlers in our care. And we anticipate that using the services and the models that we do, we will be able to expedite permanency for these babies, and they will either be going home within 6 months, or a decision will be made to move them into either caregiver, family, kin, or possibly pre-adoptive families. But that's sort of the order of things, right? Reunification is the priority. Family and kin is second. Pre-adopt is the third. Anna and her team in this past year, of all the cases that were referred for reunification to Our Kids Family Center, 100% of those cases were reunified. So our state statistics, 44% of families or of children who are removed are reunified. So I think, and based on the support that we have from the Department of Children and Families, who supported our expansion, our capital expansion with $2.5 million of bond funds, they are very supportive to the work that we do here. I am going to put this ask out, knowing how hard money and soft money works. We asked for much more than $15,000 to cover the cost of a childcare worker. Childcare workers should not be making minimum wage when we know that the first 3 years of a child's life is so significant to that person's long-term success in our society and their ability to be an effective community member. We are paying our childcare workers $20 an hour. And if we are afforded only $15,000, that will only afford us a half-time, 20-hour-a-week childcare worker for 37 weeks, which is not even a full year and doesn't include benefits. So I am asking to consider at least expanding that an additional $6,000, which would then afford at least a full year of a half-time person that could provide the hourly backup that we need when our full-time people are on vacation, and can cover when somebody calls out sick and that kind of thing. So I think it's reasonable to find $6,000 at least to make our program a little closer to whole. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Alderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, and thank you for what your organization is doing. Lisa May, what's your average caseload per year?
So this is an interesting question, okay? Because the department contract with us is for up to 54 families. However, and that's just for our reunification program. That's not for this resiliency center that's new. The resiliency center can provide a minimum of 12 babies at any one time in the space that has been built for them. Licensing reg says we can take up to 16, but we don't have the funding to staff a 1-to-4 ratio, which is what we have to have for the babies. And there's no way of knowing, are we gonna have 12 babies and 4 toddlers, or are we gonna have 16 babies? That would be very, very expensive. But in our reunification program, we have 54 families, and a family is a family. So a family can be 6 children and 2 fathers and 1 mother. It can be
3 components.
And 3 elements of service that we provide. But if we look at the numbers of individuals who receive service, including the foster families that receive support from us, we're looking at in excess of 280 people a year who are participating in the support that the staff are providing. We pick up children who are residing in foster care, be it at school, at church, in other after-school programs. We bring them, parents come on their own. We return them either to school, daycare, or wherever they may be, in addition to providing the coaching and the nurturance and the wraparound services that we provide for families. We have a food pantry that we developed during COVID because our families were so food insecure. So every family who comes to us is entitled to use our food pantry on a weekly basis. And we are going to be opening that. We just got credentialed through Connecticut Food Share for TFAP as well as Food Share. So we will be opening 2 days a month to the Dixwell community as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alderman.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for all that you've been doing. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
And congratulations on you taking over the helm. Thank you so much.
And happy birthday.
And happy birthday to all the Edwards.
I'm sure you never see.
No, we're just here.
Thank you.
So as we can see all the other programs that we have.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And share them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience.
Don't have any other presenters on the-
Looks like we don't have anybody else on our list, but if there are other folks who are wishing to testify please come forward. Thank you for sticking with us.
Good evening. As you join us on, Thank you.
You could give us your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Candace Lott. I'm the program coordinator at Community Action Agency. Address is 419 North Avenue.
Hi, my name is Rachel May Foster. I am an FCC case manager at Community Action Agency of New Haven, 419 Whaley Avenue, New Haven.
Just one second.
Page 90.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. Please proceed.
So our program, the Financial Capability Center, offers services to individuals in the greater New Haven and our catchment areas of North Haven, East Haven, West Haven, and Hampton. We provide services. Our three core services are financial coaching, employment coaching, and income supports. Our goal is to help families be self-sufficient and successful by creating healthier budgets for them, working with their credit, helping them find employment. While we also assist them with income supports as in for kids application, housing supports, and health insurance, SNAP benefits, and energy assistance that we offer at Community Action as well. And through our FCC program, our last year program year, we were able to serve 181 clients who received financial coaching with digital literacy workshops, 176 who received income supports, 173 who completed budget sheets, and out of the 184, we were able to assist 32. The microphone is going in and out. We were able to assist 32 clients to secure security deposits and back rental assistance to obtain safe, affordable housing.
One second.
Is that okay? Too close.
We can hear you.
So to obtain safe, affordable housing and to avoid homelessness and eviction. And within those 32 clients, we also served 9 women who suffered from domestic violence. And we had one survivor we were able to help get housing through the Client Support Fund. She was able to get her apartment and apply for the Department of Social Services application for domestic violence to secure $1,500 for basic needs and whatever she needed for her apartment as well. Rachel Foster is the case manager at Community Action for the Financial Capability Center. She will be giving you a testimonial story as well.
Good evening, honorable alders. I have several clients that I work with. We actually work with a large gamut of the community. We work with everyone from those who are suffering from illness, reentry, to single parents, you name it, we do speak with them. Today I want to talk to you about a client that I've been working with now for about 3-4 months. He is recently diagnosed with a chronic illness, and in 30 days of moving to Connecticut from out of state, he was diagnosed. His transition from employment to SSI support took a very severe financial toll on his life. And as I've continued to work with him, he has let us know that he needs assistance to avoid eviction and homelessness. At Community Action, we've been able to bring him into our Financial Opportunity Center, where we've offered him case management and provided him $3,500 in client support fund for rental assistance. We've been able to assist him with an income support for energy assistance in the amount of $125. And then we've also continued to support him and connected him to resources within the community for employment to the American Job Centers and New Haven Works. We also continue to work with him on very specific needs, which is individual budgeting, credit review. We also work with him on wealth building and knowledge, and we continue to encourage him in any of his other goals that he wants to pursue. We, a lot of times Community Action Agency is known to be an agency where our clients come in for kind of like a point of service type of help. We have, through the Financial Opportunity Center, been engaging in long-term client case management. Most of our clients that come in are with us for anywhere from 3-4 months, sometimes 6 months, and even a year. Our goal is not just to be able to provide instant support to our clients, it is to be able to provide a long-term support and assist them not only with their goals, but with the ability of getting knowledge that will allow them to become more independent going into the future. So I want to say thank you to you for listening to us. If you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions from the members of the committee? Alderman Gay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for what you do. I happen to be around there often, in that particular area, so I do see people coming in and out of those services. Not germane to this topic, and the chair may jump on me, but I want to commend you for being where you are and just being steadfast over in that community, because that community needs you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Looks like we're all set. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So it looks like we may not have anybody else left to testify, so we will ask 3 times. Is there anybody from the public wishing to testify? And the second time, is there anyone else from the public wishing to testify? And third time, is there anyone else from the public wishing to testify? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Hearing moved and seconded. All in favor of closing the public portion of the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The public portion of the meeting is closed. And before we adjourn, I would just like to inform the committee that we are going to be requesting that all amendments to the CDBG allocations be submitted to staff as well as to the chairs before our meeting of the full board of alders at 7 p.m. on Monday. So if you could make sure to get any proposed changes to us by then, that would be much appreciated. And staff, if you could also make sure to send out an email to members of the committee for that, that would be appreciated as well. And as Alderman Gade has mentioned before, just a reminder that any amendments will need to balance out. So if we're taking from somewhere or adding to somewhere, it needs to be taken from somewhere. And also important to note, we have a difficult job ahead of us with the cuts that we've experienced from the federal government. So we will be working together to do the best that we can on this process. And with that, I guess the one thing I'll add is that I think maybe it would be best for the chairs and vice chairs to huddle afterwards with staff briefly to discuss finishing up this process ahead of our deliberations, which will be next Thursday, the 23rd. And with that, a motion to adjourn is appropriate.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Hearing moved and second. All in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.